Time for a recap of the last 6 months at the Burnley Bungalow. If you've been following this project since last year, you may remember an area at the back that looked like a swimming pool, a deliberate indoor swimming pool. It was just full of water, but actually that was meant to be the cellar. So let's start off at the cellar, where back in April they were digging this out and making it proper, as you can see if you follow these pictures through. And if you wait till the end, you'll see what this room looks like when it's finished. During the spring, Steve was getting a lot of snagging done on the work that had been done so far. And last year we showed you the building of the flat roof, and the builders showed you exactly how it was all done. Unfortunately, the roof has not been done very well, it turned out. There have been leaks and damp and all sorts of things to worry about. So a new team of roofers was brought in to completely rebuild the flat roof. This particular lot of builders didn't want to be filmed, so you can see them like little matchsticks in the corner of some of the pictures, but they don't want to appear. And we'll report on how the roof ended up at a later date. That's not a subject for this month's video. While we've got the drone out, let's fly over the cellar area and have a look down into it to see how it's looking now. You'll get an idea of how low down this is when you briefly see Steve come through a door at ground level. In other parts of the bungalow, the work continues as well, with new joists going down. There's insulation going into floors, walls and ceilings, and places being boarded out. And it's a fine sunny day and it hasn't rained for a while, but look at the dampness on some of the boards being handed down from the roof. There's been some progress with the stretch ceiling in the bathroom, but then there's another story to tell about that for another time. And a quick look here at some of the materials that have been used on the job so far.
So hi, we're back on the Burnley Bungalow project, and what we've discovered when we was doing the basement works, there was several cracks in the concrete garage slab, but there were no real weight distribution over it, so it was a bit of a concern. So the customer has asked us to investigate, so we exposed the slab, took it out, there were no real mesh in it, and then when we found the insulation, this is what we found. 250mm polystyrene, no more compression than the 70 gauge that they give. As you can see, very easy with me fingers to give it a good indent. So regarding car traffic, it's no good. So what we're going to be reinstating is this Celotex XPS. This has a far stronger compression of 300, which is like commercial grade trucks, forklifts could track over this. As you can see, a lot of pressure, very little indent. And another good part of this board, what we like, is it's all half lapped. So So you can just sit them together and start your rundown and continue your next, stagger your joints, and then just tape up all the joints, visqueen over the top, mesh, and the 150 slab on top of that. So as you can see here, in certain areas the reinforced mesh is very close to your surface of concrete. It should be minimum 50mm below, and you can even probably see, look, you can pull, and it's, you know, that's the concrete above the mesh is nowhere near adequate.
So the roof needs rebuilding, and now the garage floor needs completely doing again, just because of poor workmanship with previous teams. The big shame about this is concrete. It's not good for the environment, so to have to dig up and throw away a whole load of it is just bad news.
So what I've done, I've just kept the insulation back from the edge. I want the concrete to fill that, so when you're trafficking, it's like a curve. You've got like a chunk there, it's just pure concrete. So when we did the inspection hole in the centre from the original slab, we noticed the mesh was sat down at the bottom, just on top of the visqueen, well, on the visqueen onto the insulation. But then in other places it was a few mil up. And what we discovered once we did remove this slab, it wasn't tied together and there were no spaces in the mesh. So what we think's happened is, as he's laid it in and he's poured his things, it's lifted and floated in areas and things. So as you can see here now, it's all spaced and tied up. We're ready to pour.
So while I was on the premises, Steve said I should go up above the bathroom and have a look at the wiring. And of course I'd imagine just a few simple wires and some connection points. It's a bit more than that. Look at this. Brilliant. Back on the ground floor, Steve points out the toilet that's been put in temporarily for the workers. There weren't any up to now. Well, I've been up a ladder and now I'm going down a ladder to the basement. It's quite a transformation from the swimming pool that it once was, and Steve is now calling this the plant room. We'll discover why in future videos. It'll probably be another month before we get back here, but a lot can happen in a month, so join us again in November for more of the Burnley Bungalow.